undisputed lightweight champion of the world. There are no other belts because the way the sanctioning bodies work, when one guy wins their real belt and he has other belts, they call him the super champion because they know he won't be able to defend it. They can't make sanctioning fees. Then they have a quote-unquote regular title. So there are a couple regular titles floating around out there. But as the super duper champion, whatever you are, as soon as you win them, they would strip you of them and create a new one again for someone else. It doesn't matter. You're the undisputed lightweight champion of the world.
Those are the words of Max Kellerman as he states and crowns and claims that Teofimo Lopez is the undisputed lightweight champion. Now, this is Max. I have mad respect for Max Kellerman. You know, he knew his stuff. I've been following when he was on he was on ESPN before. You know, he went to HBO. Now he's back on ESPN. Okay, he knows his stuff. But in this case, I don't agree with him. Okay, and the problem really isn't Max Kellerman. Max Kellerman is just doing his job, being a boxing commentator for the network that he is employed by. Okay. And the problem where it lies is Mauricio Sulaiman. Sulaiman created the WBC franchise championship, okay? And this is what he said. He said, this is the official stance taken by the World Boxing Council, confirming that its reigning 135-pound titleist, Devin Haney, will not factor into the equation. Instead, Vasily Lomachenko, the WBA and the WBO belts, along with the destination as WBC franchise champion, remains the sanctioning body's recognized true champion heading into his highly anticipated showdown with IBF titleist Teofimo Lopez. Okay, so this is what happens, okay? It's flawed. So you can't blame Max. I'm not counterpunching Max. I am counterpunching Max through Mauricio because Mauricio deserves the true counterpunch. Why? Because Mauricio created a belt. And I agree with what Max said is in terms of how sanctioning fees and sanctioning bodies work. And they create other titles and they do that to make other fees, to get other fees from other people. And they crown them or they label them a champion in order to get sanctioning fees. Floyd Mayweather last week, opened that nutshell wide open and explained it all. But of course, who knows boxing knows that. So know that. Okay, know that fact. That's the only way they do it. And it's just not the WBC. It's the WBA as well and all this, that, and the other. But the WBC is notorious for creating new belts and new opportunities to get new sanctioning fees so they can indeed make more money as a sanctioning body, if that makes sense. So what Mauricio did was he made the WBC franchise championship winnable only through Teofimo Lopez. You see what I'm saying? He did that because, for one, he didn't think that Teofimo Lopez would win either. Let's just be real. Neither did Max Kellerman. Okay, so a lot of people already had put all this out on the table because they thought that Teofimo Lopez couldn't beat Lomachenko, and they were wrong. However, where does that leave Devin Haney? Devin Haney is another he's another result of those sanctioning bodies, which was Mauricio, giving him a title and expecting him to pay sanctioning fees for that title. Okay, that's how that worked. The same thing happened to Jamal Charlo when they gave the WBC, when they created this belt and gave to a particular fighter. And so forth, they're two franchise champions. Okay, so that's where we're at right now. And I look at that, it's just bad because it just shows greed and it's not fair from their own rules. You create something, then you give a title to another person, and then all of a sudden the title that you gave to that person, which is Devin Haney, which is the WBC. I didn't even notice it to be regular with the WBC. I know the WBA has the super in the world, but the WBC, I don't even think they had a belt like that. So what they did, they made a belt that was supposed to be superior to the belt that already was recognized as the super belt. So Devin Haney had that, but what they did, they gave Devin Haney a hand-me-down belt, basically. you know, and they gave him that belt, and then they made those guys unfightable, or lost the desire to fight each other because you couldn't win the belt. Okay, so this is really Mauricio's problem. But Max Kellerman is doing his job again. He's just really putting everything out there because, of course, Teofimo Lopez is an ESPN top-ranked fighter. He is an ESPN commentator. Go figure. Okay, so this is what we have, you know, and that's what it's marketed by and because. That's why it is. So Max Kellerman saying that about that. The only flaw is Mauricio created that title. Okay, he created a franchise title. And to me, a franchise championship title is no different from a diamond belt, a Mayan belt, or whatever, any other kind of belt that they created. Okay, so a lot of times they create belts for those, for particular fights and fighters. In this case, they made one for Lomachenko, and then they gave one to Devin Haney. But to turn around and say Devin Haney will not be a factor in the equation is wrong. Because he's paying sanctioning fees, so he should be able and should be recognized as a champion because he's paying championship fees. That's like being in a union that you pay fees to, but you're not in the damn union. It makes no sense. You see what I'm saying? So what are you paying fees for if you're not even living up to your side of the deal? You're not even giving me that title, or only when it is convenient for you to do so. So again, it's not Max Kellerman, it's Mauricio Sulaiman. But Max Kellerman is crowning Teofimo Lopez as the undisputed lightweight champion. You guys tell me what you think of Max Kellerman's statements. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.